Love, 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 love. Soft as an easy chair. All you have to do is fall in love and play the game. Your heart to mine, my heart to yours. Talk about opening windows, talk about opening doors. Love is like something heart to heart. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, love. It's so sweet. Oh, folks, I'll turn it down. I'm sorry. I get so emotional when this song plays. This cover of the Beatles classic Yesterday. I think it's only the 10th version of Yesterday, correct? Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's Matthew Street, and welcome to my channel. And I'm sorry for that intro, folks, but love, love, love. Have you ever been in love? Or maybe you thought you were? Or maybe you were very, very young and naive, like, and thought you were, but you weren't. Maybe you were like a teenager in your early 20s, and you felt like something was there and it was true and real, but and maybe sometimes, yeah, it could be that young. Some people meet each other when they're little kids or in their teenage years and they stay together the rest of their life, but that's very rare. But also sometimes you can be so young you think you're in love and then you realize it's just going to crash and burn. It's not real, true love. You know what I'm saying? And oh gosh, I remember the first girl when I was very, very young that I thought I loved, and and my father said to me, and he put it so well, Mr. Street, he put it so well, he said, Matt, she's kind of like, he didn't know how to put it, and then he finally came out with, a fire hydrant with 2 sneakers has more personality and charisma than she does. And that's when it hit me. He's like, yeah, no, he's right. He's right. So that relationship didn't last long, and she's long gone. Anyway, but regardless of when you've ever been in love or fallen in love, and I'm going to talk about love a little more in a minute, but the thing that has carried me through is the music of love. And who other than has the in my life has had the most impact when it comes to love, situations of love, strategies of love, getting over love, starting new love, has been the Beatles. And this album right here has been on the top of the pile for me. Love songs. This is an unauthorized CD copy made by the lovely Robert P. Thank you, Robert P., for my CD version. I love it. And here is my vinyl edition. Now, we're going to talk about this album a little bit because it has a lot going for it, and it's something I really want to talk about with those of you that do not have it yet, because you can get it relatively cheap. You may be able to find an unauthorized CD version, and you certainly can find the vinyl version. Now, this album, Love Songs, man, when love comes a-knocking, I'm talking real love here. I'm talking it's going to be honest, true, real love. Remember, love is never perfect. No love is. It's not going to be perfect. There's give and take, as they say. There's understanding that has to come into it. Compromise is a big part of it. Teamwork is a big part of good love. Taking the good with the bad, better for worse, that type of thing. Happy and sad times, you stick together. It's like a journey through life with one another. That's what true love is. Now, this album, which came out October 21st, 1977, number 24 in the United States, number 7 in the UK, I believe, 3 times platinum in the United States. They were almost going to release a single for it. They were going to release the song Girl, backed with You're Going to Lose That Girl. They had the picture sleeves all printed up, and then it got canceled at the last minute. They didn't release the single. Now, 1977 was a great year for the Beatles, folks. It was a fabulous year. Earlier in the year, we got the great Star Club album in April of 77. The Star Club live tapes from Hamburg, Germany, which here we are in 2025. We're praying for the day they get remixed, demixed, remixed, Peter Jackson, Wingnut, whatever, and we get a beautiful set of the Star Club tape sounding better than ever, I hope. But we got the original Star Club release, 1977, that April that year. A month later, we get Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl for the first time. Beautiful, wonderful release. That was May of 77. 77, we also saw Paul's Wings Over America album, along with he had a single, I believe, later in the year, which was Mulla Kintyre, along with Girls' School. Girls' School was the A-side here. Mulla Kintyre was the A-side everywhere else in the world. So we had stuff coming out in 77. Now, don't forget, we're coming off a banner period for Beatles in general, because the year previous is when the Renaissance kind of began. Started back, earlier 3 or 4 years with the Red and Blue albums in 1973, 3 years after they broke up. But then 3 years later, all of a sudden we get the Rock and Roll Music album, and that comes out, and along with that comes the single, Got to Get You Into My Life, which made top 10. Boom, Paul's touring, Wings Over the World, Wings Over America. He's doing his thing. Wings are releasing Wings at the Speed of Sound. Big album, silly love songs, Let 'Em In, big top 40 hits, smash. George Harrison makes a comeback, after a couple of dismal albums. He comes back in 1976 with 33 1/3. Ringo's Rotogravure came out, his follow-up to Goodnight Vienna. I mean, a lot was happening in 1976. It was like a Beatles resurgence again that year. And it carried over that wave of goodwill and good, Beatlemania, new wave of Beatlemania carried into 1977. Like I said, Paul releases the live album. He releases a new single. Ringo had Ringo the Fourth, but we don't talk about that too much, okay? and like I said, so things were happening. The 2 live albums came out. But later in the year, in October, we got Love Songs. And what a beautiful, fantastic release, folks. I have loved this album since the moment it came out. It got deleted in the late 80s, unfortunately, but you can still find copies of it, as I said. Now, it's a beautiful, I'm going to show some images up here. You got a beautiful Richard Avedon picture used as the foundation, the anchor of this album. It's a wonderful image of the Beatles. He took a series of pictures of the Beatles. I'll be putting some of them up here for you to see. The gatefold is just beautiful. And it's just absolutely stunning image on the gatefold. And then you have this beautiful booklet, 11 by 11 inch booklet that's written in calligraphy on fake parchment paper. Similar to this, like a parchment type paper, calligraphy written and with the lyrics, and the cover is simulated leather, which I'll be showing you some images, but it's simulated leather, gold embossed foil for the image on the front. Beautiful. There's a yellow vinyl version out there, very rare, you can find. It's just beautiful. It's just under an hour long for the 2 double vinyl set, 59 minutes long on 4 sides. The other thing they did different is when they did the mix of it or mastered it, they reversed the stereo channels from the original Beatles stereo releases that we got here in the U.S. They released the channels, whatever that, I don't know how much of an effect that has on the sound. Maybe a little bit, you'd notice it. But yeah, so it's a wonderful, wonderful release, folks. And just chock full of everything you can imagine in the Beatles love song canon. I mean, from Yesterday, I'll Follow the Sun, I Need You, Girl, In My Life, Words of Love Here, There, and Everywhere, Something, and I Love Her, If I Fell, I'll Be Back, Tell Me What You See, Yes It Is, Michelle, It's Only Love, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Every Little Thing, For No One, She's Leaving Home, The Long and Winding Road, This Boy, Norwegian Wood, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, I Will, and P.S. I Love You. I like that touch. P.S. I Love You, the last song. It's just a beautiful, beautiful release, folks. And as I said, in 1978, I met my first true love. I was 17 and she was 16. Well, I could say she was just 17, but she wasn't. She was 16. I was 17. And it was just about a little under a year since this album came out, and we met at a Burger King of all places. We had nothing. We had zero, nothing. Met at a Burger King. And we became very, very close friends at first. And like I say, with love, there's the good, there's the ups and the downs, good and the bad. I went off to the service overseas for a long time. She went into nursing school for a long time. We tried to stay in touch, but back in those days, no social media, no email, no nothing, no cell phones. So we did our best, but I felt something. I knew something was there. I knew something was real. And after that, our friendship kept growing and growing. And when I got out of the service and she got out of nursing school, things just blossomed and the friendship grew, and here we are today, 47 years later. We're in our 60s. We meet as teenagers. We have two wonderful kids, two great boys who I'm very proud of. Their wives are fantastic. My two daughter-in-laws, love them. Love my four grandchildren I have with my two sons. You look back on life and the journey you take, and what's always there? What's the soundtrack of that, of the love you feel for one another and the happiness you feel and the joy of building a family and building a life together? Well, there's a lot of music that does that. I admit it, and I have a lot of it here. But the one constant for me has always been these guys right here, and the music and the joy they bring with the love in their music. And I look back in pride. I'm sure if my wife was here, we'd look back in pride together and say that we were one of those small percentages that made it through the journey, that made it through life's tough times and good times, and got to the finish line. I think we're getting in our senior years now, and we've made it this far, and there's no reason we won't continue to keep going. So, through it all, there's been lots of great music, but the Beatles primarily carried us along life's journey. They did. Me being the Beatle fanatic and me getting her into the Beatles, and she's not as big as fan as I am, but their music has always been the constant. And the songs that mean the most to me and my wife and our relationship that has to do with the Beatles is the stuff on Love Songs. This is the music that means the most to me and has really been kind of like the template of our relationship and the love we feel and for our family and what we've built together, coming from nothing and making something of ourselves. So particularly, like I said, this album, Love Songs, it just encompasses everything for me and my lovely wife and our love we have for each other and our family. I just wanted to highlight the Love Songs album and tell you, if you've never heard it, I would highly recommend checking it out. Out of all the different Beatles compilations that have come out, going all the way back to the Red and Blue albums, there's, several you could say were like, that was a waste, or that's no good, or that's not. But I got to say, the one that has always been the constant for me that I felt they did a great job, capital, Parlophone, whatever, has been the Love Songs compilation. I think it's a fabulous package, well put together all around. It's wonderful. And I would highly, highly recommend it to each and every one of you out there to check it out. So from me to you, Matthew Street, I love you. Celebrate love, be in love, fall in love, whatever you want to do. I'm trying to get some music on as we leave here, but she wouldn't say. I know yesterday's about heartbreak, but it just happened to be I don't think I'll get flagged for this version, so or stopped, whatever. So, but I love you all. Love the Beatles Love Songs. Check it out. It's a great, great album, and it's one I wanted to highlight for each and every one of you. Take care. Bye-bye.